Hello everyone and welcome back to Crazy Bees. It is good to be back, and today I have an overabundance of eggs that I wanted to use. There's a lot of freezer videos out there for eggs and what you can do with them, and so I'm going to do a couple of meals but not going to get into them too deeply because there's so many out there. But one of them that I was going to do was a egg scramble, and then I was going to freeze them in containers, and then I was going to boil some eggs so that we could have boiled eggs and just sausage for on the go as we're going into the car. Well, I put the boiled eggs in the water I put the eggs in the water to boil, and they rose to the top. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. That seemed odd to me. I don't remember ever having eggs that floated to the top of the water before. So that got me a bit concerned. So I got out a book, and this is what I read. Always store your eggs with the point down so that the yolks stay centered. As the shell is porous and will absorb smells from its surroundings, eggs should always be kept away from strong-smelling foods such as fish or scented products like soap. The porosity also makes it unwise to wash eggs. If they are very dirty, brush or wipe them instead. Many people keep their eggs in the refrigerator, although they are better off kept in a cool place but not chilled. Refrigerated eggs frequently break when boiled. The absorption of bacteria through the porous shells is increased in the enclosed space, and the lower temperature can cause the protein to break down, reducing nutritional benefits. Take your cue from supermarkets and other food shops, which always store eggs in unrefrigerated shelves. Raw eggs can be frozen very successfully and can be kept for up to a year. So then it talks about, freezing your eggs. But to tell if an uncracked egg is fresh, drop it into a bowl of water. If it sinks, it is fresh. But if it floats, it is bad, and bacteria has entered through the porous shell and have created gas inside. Great. Here I thought that I was doing the right things by not keeping too many eggs out on the counter. And I had 15 of 18 eggs floating. So now I'm going to have to go through all these eggs that were in my refrigerator and check and see if they're any good. And I can guarantee you from now on, I won't be putting my eggs in the refrigerator. But let's see what these do. I will try to get you in so I can show you exactly what's going on. Okay, you guys, here I've got my eggs that are from, that I've had sitting on the counter. And I put that in, and it sits on the bottom. So I'm going to have to use that egg right away now that and that's another thing, you put them in the water to check them. I'm going to have to make sure I can use them, because otherwise I'm breaking down that membrane. Did you see that? It floated to the top. So I'm just going to place all these eggs in here and see if I get any that don't. I'm getting some that aren't floating, but okay, so we have 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 that are good, and these ones right here are not. This is so stapid. Okay, so these ones I know are still good. And I'll use these in that casserole. Oh, I got another one that's floaty right here. They say when you cook your eggs and then freeze them, they can become rubbery. But I'd rather have a rubbery egg than these eggs that are just going to end up getting thrown away. That's the timer for my boiled eggs. Oh yeah, it just doesn't even feel right when you shake it. Felt like it was a ball of Jell-O. I have some that haven't been in as long as others, and these ones haven't been, and it looks like these ones are all safe. So we'll get these all scrambled up. Okay, those ones look good. So far, so good. We've only lost 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, a little over a dozen so far. And they say to always store them with the pointed side down. Okay, I'm going to have to go out to the refrigerator and grab the rest of those eggs. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do here is crack 18 eggs for scrambling. Look at that color, isn't that just beautiful? Now, do you see that little red spot right there? You don't have to worry about that. That is caused by hormones in your chickens. If you have fogginess, discoloration, a bad smell, anything like that, then you need to worry. But if you just get little red spots like that, it's not anything that you have to worry about. Some people get very nervous with that, but it is just from the chicken's hormones. And do as I say and not as I do. You should not crack all of your eggs into a single dish with all of them together. You should do one by one separately. So if you do end up having one bad egg, it doesn't ruin the whole bunch. Oops, I just got a yolk or a shell in there. There we go. Get it again. And it also keeps you from getting shells in the mix. One more. Okay, there we go. I'm going to season these up with a little bit of salt and pepper. Let me show you what we got going on over in the rest of the kitchen. Okay, so as I had said before, I was doing some stuff for scramble. So I've already got some O'Brien potatoes going. I've got some bacon fried up. Those are my boiled eggs that I had told you about. And then I also have a pound of sausage that I got a little bit browner than what I like, but it'll be fine. I got busy doing the eggs and lost track of my sausage, so it's a little bit brown, but let's see. Still tastes delicious, so it's not burnt. So we're going to put together a scramble. With all of that, I took some of the bacon grease from the bacon and put it in the pan, and we're gonna salt and pepper those eggs and get them in that pan and get them scrambled up. And in my haste of checking all of those eggs and putting them back in the cartons, wasn't even thinking that's cardboard. So I'm hoping that these will all dry out okay. If you see those on the table upside down, that's why I'm trying to dry those out. So let's get these assembled. We're going to throw in these O'Brien potatoes. So we've got some onion, we added salt and pepper to this, red and green bell peppers. We have our eggs that we're putting in here. Break them up just a little bit more. And then I have the bacon that I crumbled up. I did about, did I do six slices of bacon, and then half of that pound of pork. We're going to put that in there. And we're going to get all of this mixed together. And then we're going to take those and we're going to put them in these little dishes right here. And I'm going to write on the top of them so that we know that it's an egg scramble. And get those in the freezer. So that'll be we're going to have quite a few meals in the freezer with all of this. The other thing that I need to do is add some cheese to that. I'm not going to worry about melting the cheese or anything like that, because when we take them out of the freezer to reheat them, the cheese will melt. And this cheese I just took out of the freezer, so it's still frozen, but it's not going to hurt to add it to that because it's going right back in the freezer. So that'll be fine. For that big of a batch, I think I want approximately 2 cups of cheese. I'm just eyeballing things here. Okay, now that we have our cheese in there, I am going to get this mixed up and we'll add it to these containers. Okay, 7 dishes ready to go into the freezer. And now I'm going to work on those hash browns and get those ready so we can start putting together and assembling those burritos. Okay, now we've got everything ready for the burritos. I have let all of this cool so that we can get those assembled. While I was letting those cool, I was doing my very best to peel eggs. One thing about farm fresh eggs, they seem to be hard to peel. So I'm not going to shame myself and have you look at the base of them, but I've got all of these eggs ready to go and we are going to make our filling. So I tend to put a lot in mine. You can really put whatever you wanted to your deviled eggs. We're going to put, and I'm just eyeballing, I'm putting in a little bit of Dijon, a little bit of minced garlic, some mayonnaise, getting low on that, and I'm actually going to try to make my own mayonnaise next time. So we'll have that on the list here pretty quick to get done. And I put in a little bit of relish, and this is my homemade relish, and we're going to get a little bit of that juice in there. And went out to the garden and got a little bit of dill and some chives. Put that in there. Okay, and then we are just going to mix this up. Alright, a couple of our egg whites were a little too thin and ended up busting. So what we did have left, I had a little bit of the mixture left over. My mixture tends to be kind of like it would be in an egg salad, but it's thicker. So this can still be used to make an egg salad sandwich. So we'll keep that, no waste there. We've got our eggs all done, and I shook some smoked paprika over that. Gonna get these covered up and get them in the fridge. Okay, we are finishing up this egg video. It's been a couple of days since I did the last video on the what I thought I was going to do, the burritos, and now we are doing egg sandwiches. And I still have a few eggs, but I'm just checking them before I use them. So I want to show you guys 2 ways that you can make your rounds for your eggs. Now I fried up some bacon, so I have some bacon fat here, and I'm just taking my spatula and doing that. Now this is my little egg silicone. I really like this guy, but I only have 2 of them. If you have big batches and you're willing to give this a go, it takes a little bit of practice. I'm not too good at it yet, but you want to take a canning lid, grease it really well, grease the area on the griddle really well, make sure that your griddle is hot, crack your egg slowly into your circle. I break my yolk. And you do want this to be down. Ooh, why did I just do that? You would think you'd want it this way, but you don't. You want it this way. Okay, now we're going to let these sit here probably 5 to 7 minutes. You want it mostly cooked through so that when you go to lift off the silicone one, it's going to stay in the circle. And in this one, you're flipping that whole thing, so you want this pretty well set. Otherwise, it's going to run all over the place. And that's where I'm having the difficulty. I didn't wait long enough. And I feel like with the canning lid one, it gets pretty brown on the bottom. Let me show you one of those. And it's smaller. So you can see how it got pretty brown on the bottom compared to my silicone one, which is bigger and it didn't get as brown. And here's another good example of the browning. It's still really, it's just a lot thicker, so it takes more time for it to cook. So we're going to let this go 5 to 7 minutes and then I'll come back. Our eggs are just about ready to flip over. When you take this silicone off, I do it rather slowly so nothing sticks on the sides. It just needs a second to release. And then flip that one over. And now this one here, you need to take a spatula and you need to grab it and flip it. Then you let it sit there and cook. Sometimes they release on their own, just like that. Okay, so now we're just going to let that sit on that side for a couple minutes. You can even push down on these at this point. And then as soon as these are done, another 30 seconds to a minute, we're going to start assembling. All right, we are ready to assemble finally. So in the prep work, I did some maple sausage patties and some original sausage patties right here. I made some bacon, and then we've got our cheese, we've got our eggs, and then I'm using the original Thompson English muffins, and I've already got them all cut and ready to go. I just had them in this bag to keep them from drying out while we were waiting for everything else to get done. So I'm going to take the bases of these ones, okay. We're going to start with an egg, and I want to go with my cooler ones first. Okay, so we got an egg on each one. And then let's do the first 3 here with sausage. This is the maple sausage. Put a bigger piece of maple on that one. Now see these, the silicone pads totally fit that muffin perfectly, where if you use the canning lid, it doesn't. Maybe if you use the bigger canning lid, that would work better. I used the smaller one. I used the regular, not the wide mouth. And then let's do bacon on the other 3. We'll top them off with cheese. And that's what all of these are going to look like. We'll put that cheese on there. We're going to put that lid on there, wrap them up, and then I'm going to stick them back into the plastic bags, and they're going to be ready to go. And then we'll come back and we'll go over everything that we did with all those eggs. We did it. We have got 24 McMuffins in here. I did 3 sausage and 3 bacon in each one. When I tried doing 3 sausage in here, it was too big on the top. I couldn't close it. So the bacon, since it's a thinner meat, I was able to separate, do 3 bacon, 3 sausage, and they will fit in this bag. I wrapped them first in saran wrap and then put them in here. So these are good for going in the freezer. Probably take a couple out for tomorrow for breakfast. Okay, what else did we do? We did a regular egg scramble with the O'Brien potatoes. We had 6 of those. And then I was doing another scramble with hash browns to make the breakfast tortillas. Well, I was using the small tortillas, and I felt like I was getting less than a quarter of a cup of meat, scramble in my tortillas in order to be able to fold them upright. I didn't like that. You're getting way more tortilla than you are your actual meal. So what I figured I would do is just freeze the hash brown skillet, and then if anybody wants a tortilla burrito, a breakfast burrito, they can just make it with whatever burrito that they want to, probably a bigger sized one than these little ones. I feel like these would be better for quesadillas. And you could also, use the scrambles for inside a quesadilla, throw it in the toaster oven. So that was 12 there, that's 24 there. We had a plate of deviled eggs. That was 18 count. Those are gone. And then we did 18 count of just boiled eggs, which we have sitting in the refrigerator for anybody that wants boiled eggs for breakfast. And then I did do 6 of the tortillas, but like I said, I just way more tortilla than the skillet that's inside of it. So we came out with quite a bit of breakfast ideas for, it's going to last us a while. And it's kind of like Christmas baking. You do so much and then you're just like, I am just done looking at these eggs. So that's kind of where I am right now. I do have 2 more dozen in the refrigerator, and I just check them before I use them. So we're going to get these in the freezer and we're going to enjoy these, and I hope this gave you some ideas on if you are just having an overabundance eggs and you need some ideas on what to do with them. There's so many ideas out on the internet of different things that you can do with your extra eggs that you have coming in. So that's what I did with ours, and I hope it was helpful for you. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you on the next video.